Sarah was, in my mind, the epitome of the perfect mom. Our sons were in the same preschool class, and every time I saw her, she seemed to glide through motherhood with an effortless grace that I could only dream of. Her clothes were always stylish but practical, her hair perfectly tousled, and even her diaper bag looked like it belonged in a magazine spread. While I was usually juggling a screaming toddler, a leaky sippy cup, and a mental to-do list that stretched longer than a roll of toilet paper, Sarah always seemed calm, collected, and in control. Her son, little Ethan, was equally angelic, polite, well-behaved, and always ready with a sweet smile. On play dates, well, my Leo was busy painting the furniture with yogurt and staging elaborate block tower collapses. Ethan would be quietly building intricate Lego creations or sharing his toys with remarkable maturity. Sarah would supervise with a serene smile, offering gentle guidance without ever raising her voice. I found myself constantly comparing my chaotic reality to her seemingly flawless existence. On social media, her posts reinforced this image of perfection. Pictures of beautifully organized playrooms, healthy and aesthetically pleasing meals, and captions filled with mindful parenting philosophies. It was hard not to feel like I was constantly falling short. How does she do it? I would often wonder, scrolling through her latest Instagram story while simultaneously negotiating with Leo about why he couldn't wear his underwear on his head to school. Was there some secret parenting manual I had missed? Was I fundamentally incapable of achieving that level of calm and organization? The image of Sarah as the perfect mom had become so ingrained in my mind that I rarely consider the possibility of anything else. She was the gold standard against which I unknowingly measured myself, and unsurprisingly, I always came up wanting. Then came the Tuesday afternoon trip to Target. It was supposed to be a quick in-and-out mission for laundry detergent and maybe a treat for surviving another chaotic morning. I was frazzled, still wearing yoga pants and a messy bun, feeling the familiar undercurrent of mom guilt for leaving a pile of unfolded laundry at home. As I navigated the brightly lit aisles, my eyes scanned for the familiar blue bottle. And that's when I saw her. Sarah! She was in the toy aisle, her back to me, her signature stylish jacket instantly recognizable. Next to her, Ethan was sitting on the floor, surrounded by a fortress of action figures. So far, everything seemed to fit the usual picture. But then Sarah turned, and the image of the perfect mom began to crack. Her face was different. Gone was the serene smile, replaced by a look of sheer exhaustion. Her eyes were shadowed, and there was a tightness around her mouth that I had never noticed before. Her perfectly tousled hair looked a little less perfect, a few strands escaping to frame a face that seemed etched with a weariness that mirrored my own. And then I heard it, a sigh, so deep and full of frustration that it seemed to carry the weight of the world. She ran a hand through her hair, a gesture that looked more stressed than stylish in that moment. What happened next was even more unexpected. Ethan, who had been quietly absorbed in his toys, suddenly let out a frustrated yell. "No! He can't have the laser sword! It's mine!" Sarah's reaction was not the gentle guidance I had come to expect. Her shoulders slumped, and for a fleeting moment, a look of pure exasperation crossed her face. Then she knelt down beside Ethan, and her voice, though still relatively calm, had an edge to it that I had never heard before. "Ethan," she said, her tone low and strained, "we talked about sharing. Now be nice." Ethan's response was a full-blown tantrum. He started crying, his small body writhing on the floor. Sarah tried to reason with him, but her usual calm demeanor seemed to have deserted her. Her voice grew a little louder, a little more impatient. "Ethan, please, just get up. We need to finish our shopping." The tantrum escalated. Other shoppers started to glance their way. Sarah's cheeks flushed, and I saw a flicker of what looked like panic in her eyes. She looked utterly overwhelmed, completely at a loss for what to do. I stood there frozen in the aisle, my bottle of laundry detergent forgotten in my cart. The carefully constructed image of Sarah, the perfect mom, who had it all figured out, was shattering before my very eyes. She wasn't gliding through this moment with effortless grace. She was struggling, just like I often did. She was human. For a moment, I considered turning around, pretending I hadn't seen anything. A part of me felt like I had stumbled upon a private moment, a crack in a facade that wasn't meant for public viewing. But another part of me felt a strange sense of relief. Relief that even the seemingly most perfect mothers had their moments of chaos. Relief that the serene image I had built up in my mind was just that, an image, not the full reality. Relief that I wasn't alone in the messy, unpredictable world of motherhood. I slowly walked towards them. Sarah was still kneeling beside a wailing Ethan, her face a mask of weary resignation. I hesitated for a moment, then gently touched her arm. She looked up, her eyes wide with surprise and a hint of embarrassment. "Oh, hi," she said, her voice a little shaky. "Hey," I replied softly. "Everything okay?" A small, wry smile flickered across her lips. "As okay as a toddler meltdown in the toy aisle at Target can be," she said, a touch of her usual humor returning. I knelt down beside her. "Been there," I said, offering a knowing smile. "Many, many times." For a moment, we just sat there, two mothers amidst the colorful chaos of the toy aisle, acknowledging the shared reality of parenting. Then I offered a suggestion. "Want me to try distracting him with that giant stuffed dinosaur?" A look of gratitude washed over Sarah's face. "Would you? That would be amazing." Together, we managed to redirect Ethan's attention, and eventually, the tantrum subsided. As we walked towards the checkout, pushing our carts side by side, the air between us felt different. The invisible wall of perfect mom versus struggling mom had crumbled. We talked, not about mindful parenting philosophies or beautifully organized playrooms, but about the real, messy stuff. The tantrums, the sleep deprivation, the constant feeling of being overwhelmed. It was a conversation filled with shared sighs, knowing glances, and a sense of camaraderie that I hadn't felt before. That day at Target, I didn't just buy laundry detergent. I bought something far more valuable. A glimpse behind the facade of perfection and a connection with another mother who was just as human and just as wonderfully imperfect as I was. I realized that comparing myself to the curated highlight reel of others was a recipe for unnecessary guilt and self-doubt. The real beauty of motherhood lies not in some unattainable ideal, but in the shared, messy, and ultimately rewarding experience of raising tiny humans. And sometimes, all it takes is a chance encounter in the toy aisle to see the truth. Have you ever had a moment that shattered your perception of someone else's perfect life? How did it make you feel? Share your stories in the comments below, and if this story resonated with you, you might also find comfort in our story about the hidden struggles even seemingly calm parents face by clicking the video on your screen now. We're all in this together.